Good evening, friends. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Hopefully the sound is okay. Somebody can hopefully let me know if it's not. We are playing From Us Came Dusk tonight, which is a Dungeon World game by way of Homebrew World. And I'm here with 4 of my friends, and we are going to have a wonderful time for the next few hours, and a special treat halfway through. So you'll have to stick around and see that. As we get started, let's just go around real quick and just introduce ourselves, and for you players, a very quick, one-line introduction of who your character is. So I'm Kyle. I use he/him pronouns, and I will be your dragon manager tonight. Let's go clockwise, starting with Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Jimmy, and I am playing Lucius, the scrap metal cyborg troll paladin.
That
Yeah.
I was just waiting to hear those words. Give me life. They do. Next, Jesse.
Okay, I'm Jessie. I use she/her pronouns, and I am playing the lovable gnome Piper, cleric gnome, healing gnome Piper.
Piper, the I've written down. Oh yeah, who's is a servant of the goddess of the downtrodden. Yes.
Yes, I
Excellent.
just want to help people.
Excellent. Forda.
Hi, I'm Forda. Today I'm going by she/they pronouns because gender is weird. And I'll be playing the half-elf, possibly half-dragon, half-cloud. We don't know how to math here. He's a bard, not a mathematician. His name is Luca.
All right. And Luca gives me maybe even more life if that's possible. Which is saying a lot because they all do. And now our friend Cole.
Hi, I'm Cole. My pronouns are she, they, and tonight I'm going to be playing as Nettle, the Imp Ranger.
With a companion.
With a Wolverine named Susha.
Let me tell you, Two Socks, we are all here for Nettle. I mean, we're here for all of them, but we're extra here for Nettle.
Oh, shucks.
So,
That was a lot of lightning.
there's all right. So, by way of introduction, so it sounds like something broke. By way of introduction, as I said, we're playing Dungeon World, which is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. So if you're like, this doesn't sound like D&D, it'll sound a little bit like D&D, but not exactly. Don't worry about it. We roll dice and we have fun and we tell a story. Some of the folks here are learning the game, so I may explain some rules as we go, but it's mostly just to kind of keep things flowing. And even more, D&D can get sometimes, depending on your playstyle, can get a little loosey-goosey with the rules, even more so here. So, we'll not stress about it. We've played one session so far, in which the characters explored or started to explore an underground vault where a blue ghost had normally been seen, but had not been seen, and they were investigating. They weren't investigating a ghost; they were investigating the absence of a ghost. They made their way, so in this world, if you couldn't tell, it's sort of a fantasy tech hybrid, set some indeterminate number of centuries after some undetermined type of apocalypse sort of thing from another scientific civilization. And when they got in, not only did they have to deal with the few kind of like floating robots, there were a few out in the forest as well, that the imp led them past the robot bees, which was fun. When they got inside, they found computers and display screens that asked for biological specimens, and then they went around inside some more, and they found another large room where they found the blue ghost, but they also found some storage containers and that had different sorts of creatures floating in them. And after a little bit, some sort of chaos spawn, like living flesh, but not as one normal organism, came out. They defeated that with the help of a trusty Wolverine and Lucius standing in the way and Nettle shooting arrows at it and Luca hiding under a table, apparently, which was pretty great. And they discovered that the blue ghost was, in fact, a robot. Well, it's like a metallic skeleton with a blue hologram around it for its body, which is where we left things off last week. No, that's not where we left things off last week. Where we left things off last week was even better, because they had decided that they wanted to rest, which made a lot of sense. It was a good choice. And they decided and another wise choice that the group made, you decided to wait outside the dungeon, to rest outside the dungeon, not to camp inside of it. Makes sense. And the ranger was doing a thing. Nettle, what was the thing you were trying to make camp of some sort, right?
I was trying to find like food and stuff, I think.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you were trying to do some foraging, trying to make some camp. You were trying to do that whole thing. Yes, and we did that, but then you rolled a 6- on your roll to do that, to do your extra foraging or whatever it was. Now, in Powered by the Apocalypse games, when you do that, what happens is the GM gets to make a move. Right? And GM moves are a little bit different than player moves, but the idea still is, like, literally the rules require what every good dragon manager should already be doing, play to find out what happens and be a fan of the characters and embrace the fantastic and all those sorts of principles that are behind what we do. So, you're making camp, it's getting late, and everything's fine. The sun is setting. You can hear the birds chirping and undetermined wildlife off in the forest, at least undetermined by us. Perhaps Nettle knows what it is. You hear the occasional buzzing of robotic bees in the trees. Hopefully the buffering is from Twitch and not from me. What's that, Jesse? You're muted. Now who's muted?
Wouldn't unmute. I think it's from Twitch.
Okay. All right.
Oh no!
Probably you can refresh your browser. Hopefully that helps. Anyway, from inside that dungeon, from inside that vault, rather, you hear another moist, sucking sound.
Oh, why?
I don't like that.
In fact,
no.
the closest way, and I won't do this on audio, but it sounds almost like the dungeon itself, what we would, call Hockanaloogie, somewhere inside. You hear that. You don't see anything, but you hear that from inside. You have heard this sound once before, in any case. So,
I don't.
what do you do?
I'm making camp.
My boss is calling me. I'll be right back.
Hey, guys. Please tell me I'm the only one that heard that.
No, I'm sorry. Do we move?
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. What do you think we should do? Should we check it out?
Well, we can't let it leave that place. In fact, we can't let any of them leave. We gotta.
I'll check it out.
But you can't go in there alone.
Lucius stands up.
I don't know. I think he could totally handle it by himself.
I need
You can take Saoirse, help him out.
Okay,
And a little Wolverine trapped up next to you.
they are very small compared to me.
They are very small,
Yes.
but bigger than me.
So I think Lucius walks towards the sound.
So the sound is inside the dungeon. Now, Lucius, you are so big and broad-shouldered. And the beginning of this dungeon, it's not like a big regular archway, right? It's sort of a crack in the side of this rocky hill. So you kind of are like squeezing through and trying to make your way through and around. And of course, the Wolverine's able to fit through. Is it just the two of them going in, or the rest of you waiting outside?
I'll follow along behind.
Yeah, I'm with Luca.
All right. Is Piper going in, or is Piper staying outside? You're muted.
Piper will go in with you guys. Yes.
All right. So you're making... Most of you are being, like, a little bit cautious, a little bit... Maybe even, certainly in at least one case, maybe in others, trepidatious. Because Luca's like... I get the feeling that Lucius is having none of that.
No.
Lucius is like, it's whatever.
Lucius knows no fear.
So, again, when you get inside, you kind of come in like you're from the outside, as it were, of this circular corridor. It's a big circle. You can't see all the way to the sides of it, right? You see that door ahead of you that led into one of the room that asked for that had the screens on it and the biological specimen. To the left, you see some rubble. You could probably squeeze through. It might be a little bit difficult for Lucius, but he could probably force his way through. And then it's clear to the right.
This rubble, is it like able to be moved at all, or is it like a collapsed tunnel or something like that?
It does. At first glance, it looks like the tunnel walls might have kind of fallen in somehow. That's what the material seems like.
Where do I hear the noise coming from? Left or right?
Well, it's not still coming.
Okay.
If you want to listen carefully for clues, you could. If that's what you're trying to do, then you could. Yeah. So let's do a discern realities. Yeah. So
1 second. I just remembered I forgot to take out my dice. One quick second.
Are you Matthew W. Foreman? So while he's doing that,
Scolded.
just to explain, no, Matthew always does that. Discern realities is a move, which is the basic way that stuff works in Dungeon World. And when you closely study a person or a situation and look to the GM for insight, roll plus whiz, and that's what we're going to find out.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I got a 6 and a 2 plus -1.
That's fine. It's still a 7.
Yeah.
So you get to ask one question, and then you'll have advantage on your next move to act on the answers. What happened here recently? What's about to happen? What should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful or valuable to me? Who or what's really in control? Or what here is not what it appears to be?
Oh, they're all so good.
They are really good.
It's hard. It's a hard choice. What here is not what it appears to be?
Ooh. What here is not what it appears to be? That's not the question I thought you were going to ask. Let me think. I would say that as you're looking around, everything that you can physically see is what it appears to be.
Okay.
But I will say that you can still hear that voice, that kind of the voice of the vault from before that you heard last session, kind of the emergency intruder alert sort of voice, and that I'll tell you that voice is not just like an automated system. There's more to that voice. It still is part of the automated system, but there's more to that voice than just kind of systems responding that simplistically.
Okay.
So there's more to the voice?
Yeah, there's more behind that voice.
Do I recognize it?
No, I don't think you would recognize that voice, no.
I guess Lucius will go back to where that voice was coming from,
Okay.
checking out.
So you can go kind of back into that room that was right across from you with the screens and so forth, and you still see in the center of the room, right, sort of a pedestal, kind of like this, but much bigger, right, much taller. There's a circular component on the top of it that has sort of a door slid open. Oh, we are going to lose Cole for a while. Not Cole. Jesse for a while. Sorry, I was getting flustered. Who had a personal emergency they've got to deal with. So she has stepped away. So hopefully we don't need the cleric. But as it happens, real life comes first for sure.
Yeah.
They had. Yeah. Okay, so you go in there and you still see some of those screens flashing in writing that you can't read because it's not like any writing you've seen before. And you hear that voice say again, advisory. External life forms have entered the vault.
And that's the same voice that there's something more to it.
Is where's the noise coming from? Is there like a
There's like little grilled speakers in the wall in the ceiling.
Can I spout lore?
What is it you're trying to remember? What is it you're trying to know about?
The voice, I guess. I'm like trying to figure out if this is some kind of technology that my order knows of.
All right. Makes sense. Yeah, roll plus int.
Do I take that +1 because of discern realities?
I would say
Or
so, yes.
advantage?
No, it's not plus one, it's advantage. So roll 3d6, take the two highest, and add your intelligence modifier.
That's a 6 and a 5
Oh, yeah.
plus
Something
+1.
interesting, useful, and relevant. So, I will just tell you, because this is Dungeon World, I don't have to couch everything in other terms. This isn't just an automated system. This is actually an artificial intelligence.
wow?
What does your order know about AIs? How do you know about this?
I think that my order has attempted to create artificial intelligence, but has not yet succeeded. So I can sort of recognize the like bits and pieces of like this is a very familiar thing that I have like been in contact with, but I haven't seen one that has completely worked on its own.
Perfect.
Well,
Do you relay this to the rest of us?
yes, I think
How would you describe it to people who don't know what an AI is?
I don't even know. I know what an AI is. I don't even think that's like the word he would use for this. Like, it is a non-natural mind that is speaking to us. Something that has been created.
I feel like
Nettles looking at you with really big, confused yellow eyes.
It is a mind that hasn't been. Instead of being born into this world by natural processes, it has been built by hands. And yet it still has a will of its own.
Whoa.
I feel like that would jog something in Luca's mind as far as like lore accumulated, and like he's thinking more of what's the way to interact with this mind socially, like how would we go about establishing contact in more than just a intruder sort of way. Let's see.
Well, that's not so much a move as it is you deciding how do you want to try to talk to this
Okay.
mind.
Well, remembering what we did last session with the leaf, how it analyzed that, I'm going to actually take a bit of my own hair and put it into that thing, the device,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go. I think we're the intruders you're talking about, but we aren't here to cause trouble. And maybe this will help you figure out what I am. I'm not hostile. And so I'm just gonna put this little strand of hair in the thing.
All right.
Oh no.
You hear that, and immediately, as soon as you put it in, the door on it, it's kind of yeah. There's this little door on the receptacle on the top of this component, and it immediately zip, closes, and you hear a processing, anomaly.
Anomaly.
That's upsetting.
And after a minute, it says, the voice, says, confirmed. Intelligent intruders. State your purpose.
Exploration, possible repair, I think.
We are looking for a non-existent ghost.
We found the ghost. We fixed it.
As you say that, apparating in front of you is a similar blue translucent hologram that you can see partway through in the form of like the head of a dragon and a humanish shaped body, but still with scales and so forth, like a dragonkin in front of you, but in this kind of translucent blue form. And that same voice speaks and says, greetings. I am Isaacs. Welcome to the vault.
Hello, Isaacs.
Are you here to conduct repairs and or data retrieval?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very well.
We
Current
might need some
operation.
guidance, though.
Current operations are impeded by an intrusion of unknown source in the southeast sector.
How do we reach that from here?
Query. Are your locomotive facilities impeded in any way?
Is
No.
my logo what?
No.
Very well.
No.
Then you may access this intrusion by walking.
Which direction?
Southeast.
What is that in reference to, like, the route you've been in?
Would I know? I think I would know.
Oh, yeah. You came in at the south.
Okay.
So it'll be back the other way around that ring that you, not towards the rubble, but the other way.
Okay.
When this intrusion is cleared, please report back for further repairs. And the dragonkin hologram kind of scan
As he's
lines out.
disappearing, I want to like reach out to like shake his hand, like try to touch him, but then he disappears. So it's just like a ugh.
Yeah, your hand gets there just in time and kind of goes through the hologram. And you don't feel anything. There's just light on you for a second and then it disappears.
See, it is not a ghost. There are scientific explanations for this.
I don't know. That looked like a ghost to me. He just disappeared.
It's kind of sort of the same, but different. I don't really know how it functions.
I don't either.
I didn't make it that far in my studies.
Would Nettle know which way is southeast?
Yep, it's back the other way around the ring.
He said southeast. Everybody follow me.
Okay.
Take off with Saoirse.
All right. As you go around in that direction, you see the hallway kind of continues to curve around, right? And you see another door like the ones that you've gone through previously, but this one you can see kind of seeping around the edges of the door itself some sort of blackish ooze. It's like a dark, void of ooze.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Hey, Lucius.
Yes.
Here, have an arrow, and like just poke the oozy thing and see what happens.
I take the arrow and poke the oozy thing.
What happens to the arrow?
Oh.
Oh, that doesn't sound good at all.
Lucius, as you're getting close, you're kind of poking it. Can you roll plus, let's call this Dex?
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no, I'm sorry.
My dex is 0. Let's see how this goes. 6 plus 3, so 9.
All right. As you reach close to it, you don't touch it, but as you get close to it, you get a glimpse in your mind of chaos, of unreality, of something beyond your own plane of existence. Choose one. You can either take minor amount of damage or be temporarily dazed.
I'll take damage because I haven't taken any so far.
All right. So these psychic winds buffet you as for a moment you're not actually transported, but something from these chaotic planes kind of reaches into your mind. Roll a d6 and that's your damage.
1.
There you go. It does ignore armor though.
I don't even know what my armor is. I haven't taken any armor yet.
Oh.
So I'll just put 1.
Yeah, it depends on which armor you pick as from your gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all of you see what the rest of you see is as he touches it, you see him kind of freeze for a minute, and that arrow that he pokes it with, for just a minute, flickers in and out of existence, and then it's in his hand when he's done. But for just a second, it's like when a TV is on the fritz and only getting a little bit of a signal. It's like bip bip bip, and then it reappears. That's what happens when you touch it.
Oh my god. Gods? I don't worship those. Okay, anyway. What? Whoa. Are you okay, Lucius?
I think so. Here, stand back. And I'm going to basically take out my spear and try to smite it.
Smite the void!
Yeah. When you strike a thing of supernatural evil, roll plus strength.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna try and sort of crouch behind Nettle.
I got a 4.
You got a 4, so mark XP.
Right.
As you're going with your what kind of weapon do you have?
It's a polearm.
Okay. As you're reaching out with your polearm to jab into this ichor, this ooze, you push so hard you actually push it through that door, that metal door, and it kind of crumples, and your polearm is now kind of stuck in it, but it's crumpled enough that with just an extra push, you could probably just push the door all the way open, off of its frame.
Well, so I basically lost my spear.
It's sort of. I mean, you could probably pull it back out, but for the moment, it's not usable for fighting. But at the same time, you've also sort of kind of affected entrance into the room behind this door.
I'll continue pushing on it. I'm going to forget about the spear, not worry about it, and just push the door open.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that. You're strong enough. You don't even have to roll for this. Just you push, and after a minute, you all hear the metal groan, and the door, as I said, just detaches from the frame. Inside, on the other side of that door, you see a room. You come in at the center rather than on the side as before, but the room is shaped like the other kind of triangular-ish rooms that you're in, that you saw last week, rather, where you're kind of at the outside, then there's these straight line sides, and then kind of the center. And in the middle in the middle of this room, on the floor, and starting to grow up onto the walls, you see this thick black ooze, and it's not, now that you can see the center of it, it's not just one color. It's flashing to colors that you didn't even know could exist, that should be impossible for you. And you see shards in it of other universes and of stars and of light, and all of this is there as this thing is oozing out of the ground. What do you do?
Well, before the door opened and Luca was trying to hide behind me, I was like swatting at the clouds, just like doot, doot, doot. And then when the door opened, I would have run up to the door and took a peek in, and immediately backed out. Guys, I don't think that looks really good. What the heck is it?
Could you describe it again? Sorry.
So,
It's like different colors,
Yeah.
and
no, go ahead.
I'm kind of picturing just like
There's stars in it, I think. It's weird. I don't like it.
it doesn't look right.
Tell me, Luca and Nettle each of you tell me one thing that you notice about it that tells you that it's not entirely from this plane of this reality.
It's like not moving, but shifting at the same time. The way that it's moving is like it's not natural. And
Like a kaleidoscope, but like stars don't go on the ground, and I don't know how to feel about that.
yeah, it's like it just looks
Looks
wrong.
like I'd fall in and just keep falling forever.
Oh my God, it's full of stars. So you see this in front of you. What do you do?
As terrified as I am, I want to try and figure out more about it. I want to study it, because that's what I've been trained to do.
All right, then let's roll plus wisdom for that discern realities.
Okay. So it's what? 2d6?
2d6 plus your wisdom modifier.
Nope, it's just flat d6. Nothing.
Trained to do it.
That dice go. 8.
8. Okay, so you can ask one of those questions.
What is about to happen?
Ooh. What's about to happen is that another one of those chaos spawn that you fought last week is about to be excreted.
Excreted? Oh,
That's even worse.
oh, there's so many words I don't like.
Oh no.
Moist is number 1, but ooh, excreted is up there too. Ugh,
Oof.
okay.
How long do we have until it comes out?
You can see it starting to form in front of you. You see it, and Ezra, what you see is coming out of it is like this mass of pulsating flesh and bone where there shouldn't be bone, and
No.
it's like shifting like this, and it looks like it was once a living creature, but it's been shifted. It's been changed somehow at some point. Oh,
Spout some lore. I'm gonna spout some lore. It's probably not entirely relevant, but
roll 2d6 and add your intelligence modifier.
And after he does that, I'm just
okay.
You're gonna take a shot. All right.
I panic.
It's 9 plus 2 is 11.
Oh, very good. Something interesting and useful and relevant about the subject.
Okay.
You know, so I will tell you that this spawn, this chaos spawn, has the ability to rewrite reality as it unleashes chaos from containment.
Okay. And because I'm a scholar, I'm going to ask a follow-up question.
Oh, right! I love it when you have these special extra things.
Yeah. Me too. So now knowing that it can, rather remembering that it can rewrite reality, what can I possibly do to prevent it rewriting reality?
What you need to do is somehow sever or burn away or remove the kind of um, secretion into this world. All of that you need to kind of get rid of all of this ooze, basically.
Okay.
Somehow.
Okay, everybody.
All right. So while Luca is remembering that, Net'll let fly a shot. So that's going to be volley. So 2d6 plus dex.
Okay. Oh no, that's not the right tab. Oh no. What's my dex? My dex is +2. Okay. 6, 7, 8. That is an 8.
All right. You will be able to deal your damage, but you have to either kind of have to move to get the shot and get in danger, or you can deal damage with disadvantage because you have to kind of take what you can get, which means you're going to roll your damage twice and take the lower, or you can deplete your ammunition, marking the next status next to your ammo.
I'll move into danger.
I love it when they do that. As a player, that's also always the option that I take because it's boring otherwise. Jesse, we're glad that you can be with us in chat. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that emergency, and I hope everybody is okay with what you got going on there. But as I was telling the other group, for sure, real life comes way before role playing. Absolutely. All right. So you're going to place yourself in danger. Okay, you are kind of like moving around. Lucius takes up a lot of space, right? Like, we're going to see in our special stuff later, he takes up a lot of space. So you're having to kind of edge around the room to do that. And you take your shot, so deal your damage.
Okay. Oh, I'm scared. Maybe I'll... No, wait, I don't... I'm going to use this one. No, yes, this one. Okay. That's an 8.
That is an 8. Let me see here.
Out of a D8.
Out of a... Oh, fantastic. Yeah, your arrow... Tell me about what it is that you do that shoots that appear. It doesn't kill it, but that just is able to pierce right into this thing.
For reasons that I don't understand, sometimes, every once in a while, when I go to take a shot, the top crystal in my bow, it's an amethyst, and sometimes it pulses and glows. And I don't know what it does, but when I see that, I know I'm gonna hit it.
Wow. Well, you did. It just pierced right in, and you hear kind of it's sound, but it's like an inverse sound. It's like air being sucked toward it rather than pulsed out like a sound we would think of as sound waves. And it's but the problem is this. As you were getting that shot and scooting around Lucius, you didn't realize that you are now getting very close to that black ichor on the walls, and you look down and you're right next to it. What do you do? How do you deal with this danger near you?
Oh no, Nettle, look out!
I don't know if there's a mechanic for it, but I have wings. Do they work? Can they work?
Sure. Okay, so you're gonna try to fly away you're gonna move out of the way very quickly?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Could you roll plus a dex?
Okay. Oh, what is this? Okay, that's another 6. Wait, 6, 7, 8. That's an 8. I can't do math.
That's good. 8 is better than 6 but categorically. So as you're doing that, you get that same glimpse that Lucius did earlier. As you touch it for just a second, in your mind, it's like you are rushing through a kaleidoscope in your mind. It's like you go flying through it. Do you want to take a little bit of damage or be temporarily dazed?
I think I feel dazed just hearing that description.
Okay, so
Does it last for one turn?
It's
Two
not.
turns?
It's not turns exactly because there aren't really turns in the game. You have disadvantage on any rolls for intelligence and wisdom until you can take time to catch your breath and tend to yourself a little bit.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that makes sense to me. Whoa. You see Nettle, like she's in her wings and she's just like, whoa. Whoa.
yeah, and to be clear, it won't affect like strength and dexterity and things like that. It'll just affect like your mind basically.
It's
Um,
a good thing that Nettle's not really smart or wise.
and the rest of you saw her boot or her shoe or whatever she. What do you wear on your feet?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, they're just hoofs.
You saw her whole hoof flicker, just like that arrow did, flicker in and out of existence before it kind of reappeared for good.
I looked down. Is my foot still there?
That looks painful.
Oh my god, did it hurt?
It didn't really hurt. It was like it just wasn't there for a moment. What do you all do?
I'm going to go and attack it.
All right, you're attacking it with your holy sword or your holy. What weapon do you have now?
I only have one diamond of gear left. I guess I'll like take out a little axe or something,
Okay.
and it has like sort of one of those jagged edges things, like you would have on those kitchen knives.
Oh yeah, like a serrated edge.
Yeah, serrated.
Yeah.
Those.
Okay. All right.
Like,
I'll mark that off. And I guess that's with strength, right?
If you're attacking it, unless you have a paladin thing that.
I mean, I can smite it, but that didn't really work last time. So
Totally your choice.
I don't think I can smite it if it didn't work last time. Something's wrong.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. And I'm going to roll a hack slash. That is a 5 plus 1. That's a 6. That's a 6.
Total.
Again. I'm not very good at fighting this thing.
Apparently. So, mark XP
Yeah.
and
can I lend aid in any way?
yes, you can.
Can you lend a?
Well, no, yeah, not after a roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next time.
Next
That's okay.
time. Yeah. So. Yeah. So you are just trying to chop at this thing with your small axe, right? And you're hitting it, and it doesn't seem you're physically making contact, and you see your axe edge biting into this thing, but it seems like it's not
Doing anything.
it's like it's not doing anything. And what happens is actually that back near the door you see another one of those things get excreted from the ooze, but it doesn't come towards y'all. It leaves down that hallway.
Oh no.
No, not
So there's a second one?
Yeah, second one left.
Okay.
Oh no, shoot, oh shoot.
I'm gonna scream at it.
You're gonna scream at it?
I'm gonna use my magical voice. I'm gonna.
Oh, that kind of.
Yeah.
Hopefully I get it and the one that was already here, and I'm gonna do the thing. I'm gonna do the thing. Oh, nice. What's that? 11 plus 1 is 12.
Oh, you are doing which arcane working are you doing?
I am using cacophony.
Oh. So you play a loud note.
I'm uttering it.
You are uttering a loud scream.
I imagine that when I'm using my bardic magic or whatever, it's like I tap into some portion of me that, like, instead of uttering just one note, I can utter like a chord at like
Like throat singing.
I guess.
All right. No, that's perfect. No, that's cool. Throat singing is good. Um, as you do that, they don't really carry anything. So you see the if you're kind of glancing behind you, the one that's kind of out in the hallway kind of stops, as does the one that is fighting with Lucius and Nettle, and it literally kind of physically shrinks back down somewhat into that ichor. And the other one kind of freezes. You see it kind of like it's like a quivering gelatinous mass in the hallway now. What do you do?
Well, I want to yell over to Saoirse and be like, go protect Luca. Don't let anything happen to him.
What does anyone have to like hit this or clean this, scrub this stuff? The things on the wall.
Wait, you're calling to me to go protect Luca?
No, Saoirse.
So
Oh, sure. Okay.
Saoirse, yeah, can go over and do defend.
Yeah.
Have them roll plus. I'm gonna say plus fierce. Because this isn't just standing in front of some regular danger. This is attacking, like sort of attacking. So it's plus 2. It's 2d6 plus 2 for you, because you have a like a cat type thing.
So yeah.
Not a cat, like a cougar type thing.
That's a 5.
Total?
Yeah.
You rolled a 3?
Yeah, I got a 2 and a 1.
I'm just trying to make sure because so mark some XP.
Oh no. Oh, did I level up?
So if you got so the way this works in this version of Dungeon World, when you get 5 XP, you can pick one of the advances on the right column at any time. You don't have to wait to level up. You can improve your stats. You can get one of the extra things there.
Interesting.
So while you are thinking about that, and you don't necessarily have to do it at this moment, certainly. By the way, just so y'all remember, you can also at any point, when you have one, spend an XP to add plus 1 to a roll after you roll. So that is one of the things you can do in this game. But then that makes it slightly slower until you get your next advance. Anyways, so Saoirse is running over to the one that's kind of outside. That's the one that's nearest, because I guess Luca is kind of closest to the door, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Luca probably didn't come all the way in because they're doing their whole nervousness thing, and as Saoirse is running over there, I think what happens is that that same ichor is.
Oh no.
Yeah, Saoirse doesn't understand, and Saoirse just runs right through it.
Oh.
Can you have Saoirse roll plus clever? What is that? Plus 1 for... So that's 2d6 plus 1 for Saoirse.
Oh. That's a 4 plus.
Plus 1?
Yeah. I rolled a 3 and a 1.
Okay, y'all's dice are not helping you out tonight
No.
They're grounded. I picked a different one.
at all. And yeah, so they're going to take 1d6 damage for Saoirse. So how many? They have 9 hit points. So roll the d6 to see how much damage they take.
Oh boy. 1.
1, very good. Now this is when it's good to roll low. This is when you want to roll low. Yeah, so you hear Saoirse kind of howl in pain, and it's not a physical pain. It's like she felt that sharp pain in her own brain for a minute, but she is there standing next to Luca, growling, her hair raised on her back of her neck, facing this thing. What do you do?
I am inspired by this brave Wolverine. I'm going to whip out my rapier. I'm not very good with the thing, but I'm going to use it.
Are you stabbing the one that's kind of in the hallway, or the one that Lucius is fighting?
The one that is closest to me, the one in the hallway out there.
Okay.
Because we can't let these things leave.
Right, so you can roll hack. I think for you can roll plus dex with the rapier.
Yep.
Okay, so 2d6 plus your dex.
That's 7.
Okay.
Oh, 7 decks.
7.
No. That's 7 total.
Okay, 7 total. All right, you can deal your damage, and you can either choose to, you could suffer, but they get to attack you back, basically. So, what's your damage roll?
To roll damage, it's 1d6 or 2.
It's 1. It's whatever your. So you're a bard, so yep, it's 1d. It's 1d6.
Okay. Because I don't see where to do that. I will figure this out, but right now is not the time. 5.
5. Okay.
Oh no.
As you pull out your rapier and you just thrust it right in, to this horrible extraplanar spawn. The spawn pulses again, and the tunnel walls in front of you, or sorry, but kind of behind you, the outside walls sort of flicker for a moment, and suddenly there is a wall between you and that spawn.
Oh, ow. Okay.
Did I see that happen?
Yes, yeah. So the way that y'all came is now walled off.
Okay.
And you don't see that second spawn. The hallway continues around the other way, the way that you were going.
Okay. I still have that spawn in front of me, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to punch it.
All right, that is hack and slash.
Wait, do I still have my axe?
Yeah, you still have your axe.
Okay.
We didn't take it away.
Now, use that axe to, I'm gonna hack and slash. And 6 and a 5 plus 1.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Now you can either evade its attack, or you can strike for an extra d6 damage, but you have to suffer its attack.
I'll suffer that extra d6.
All right, so roll your
suffer damage.
roll your damage plus a d6.
Paladin is a d8, right?
Okay, yeah. So you roll a d8 plus a d6 then.
Okay.
Whatever you. I don't remember all of the.
So my d8 was a 2, 5, 7.
Actually, Paladin is a d10.
Okay, I'll re-roll that. I got a 5 for the d6 though.
Okay,
so
perfect.
I roll that d10. 10. So 15.
Oh my god.
This time, you have found the measure of this thing, and it had shrunk a little bit into.
How much damage do I take?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
I will tell you. It shrinks back as you just chop and chop and chop with this hand axe, and you all see his thick corded troll muscles and the movement of the mechanical pieces in his arms kind of flaring with holy energy, with holy electrical energy, I guess, as he's chopping into this thing. And as he does, you see it kind of just spurts out, and some of it spurts on you, actually, as it does that.
I'm probably covered in that goop. I'm just like going in it.
Right. So roll a d10, and that's how much damage you take.
Oof. Okay, I'm gonna have to get that later. At least I have another D10. 5.
Okay, so you take 5 damage, minus your armor. Maybe you don't have. I don't remember if we just said you
No,
had.
I got armor. That's
Okay.
why I couldn't get another weapon.
All right. So you all see this thing kind of all over him as he's chopping, as he destroys it. However, the ichor kind of covering all the surfaces in the room, except for the floor where you're standing, is still there. What do you do about it?
The first one is still in the room?
And
No,
you
it's
you
dead.
killed it.
That one's dead. Okay.
Okay.
Just making sure. I'm all confused.
I'm feeling reinvigorated, and I think I'm going to try and smite the rest of that ichor.
Okay. Do it.
I think it was a thing of confidence, like having my thing be taken before definitely was not good. So that is
Smite the ooze!
I
Smite
got
it!
a
5.
question,
Yes.
or more for DM. Go ahead and roll.
5 plus 4 plus 1. That's 10, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So you smite it, but you.
Arrow,
So
your
you-
dice.
For
On
your.
a 10 plus, you deal damage and pick 1. I can either deal an extra d6, ignore armor, suppress one of its unnatural powers, or force it from its host.
Which do you choose?
I'll suppress one of its unnatural powers. And I want to suppress its sort of like expansion, its creation, sort of.
You don't want to just force it from
What?
its the sound. Well, if you're stopping its expansion, maybe you're really forcing it from its host. Maybe
Does it have a host?
its host is the vault.
I'll force it from its host.
Yeah. So you see, what does it look like when your full holy radiance of your paladin powers engulfs you? What does that look like?
I think it's less of like a holy presence. I'm sort of like interpreting the technology that they have as the sort of holy. So like any sort of. So I'm guessing it's sort of a very harsh light, like you would be in like a very bright hospital room, just kind of emanating from like underneath the panels on their body. And it kind of like coming out of the panels, like sort of like a scrap of the axe, like
Right.
pieces. It kind of like
So
where
kind
the
of
pieces connect. Yeah.
from out. So what you're saying, make sure I understand, is from all of the kind of cyborg elements out from underneath it is this
Yeah.
these bright rays of light shining out.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I
like,
dig it.
Yeah, and like everything sort of has like this sort of cobbled together look. So underneath all the little like things that kind of like make up the thing, including the axe, which is sort of cobbled together. Like underneath all those little panels, like light emanates from it.
Oh,
It's very harsh.
and as those light rays shine upon this chaos ooze, this chaos ichor, you see several things. First of all, you see all of it kind of shrink back all at once. All three of you see this. 4, I guess, including Sersha. And it kind of dries out for a minute, and all of that otherworldliness, the kaleidoscope effect, the stars, the shards, disappears, and for a moment, it's just black goop. And then even from there, it's like it's fried. It's like it's cooked. It hardens into like a nasty but dry crust. And some of it, the hole in the ground where it was kind of coming out of, some of it zooms back in. And now there's just kind of broken cement flooring. And all the stuff that was on the walls and the door and all of that is now just cooked. And it's no longer, you've basically, it's like when it's not alive anymore. It's not there anymore. Now it's literally just kind of would be like scraping it off and cleaning it out. It just needs a power wash.
And I look down the little crack on the floor. Is there like anything left in there? Like
There's a crack there. You don't see any more of the, just maybe little bits still of the cooked, fried portion of it, but not the actual kind of oozy portions.
Oh, wow, Lucia, how did you do that?
That was awesome.
I meant Lucius. Oh, now I combined the two.
We have to go back. Is Lucas still fighting that thing?
No, that thing rewrote reality, put a wall between, and left.
Okay, then I'm not going to dilly dally, and I think Lucius is going to right after they get that other stuff out, they're going to go after the next thing.
Okay.
They are not going to stop.
So while you are running out, Luca had a thing they wanted to do or a question they wanted to ask.
It's irrelevant now because it's dead.
Oh.
That's the best kind of irrelevant, right? It's irrelevant. We won, or at least you won that particular fight.
Okay, so in case we come across it again, I guess it's still relevant.
Okay.
So I've got an ability. One of my arcane workings is called counterpoint. I intone a resonant note and I break an enchantment upon those who hear it. I don't know that this would count as an enchantment, though.
No, this isn't really I wouldn't say this is an enchantment. I think you would know that. You're not going to have to waste it later. You're going to realize that's not an enchantment so much as it is reality, kind of being torn apart.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lucius, you run back out. You're going to have to run, basically almost all the way around the circle, right? And as you're doing that, you hear that voice say, "Advisory. The extraplanar incursion has been removed. Please advise when you are ready to resume data retrieval and export functions."
These are a lot of words that I don't really understand.
It's asking if we want to ask more questions.
I'm not asking questions. I'm still going after that thing.
Yeah, so I see you. I can imagine you're just kind of hustling right back around.
They're very single task minded. What's the
single minded? Yeah, task oriented. Yeah.
Single task oriented.
So it's going to take you a little bit to get around, and even if and also because you're so much bigger and your stride is so much longer, it's going to take Luca, but it's really going to take Nettle a little bit to catch up to you because she just got tiny little bitty legs.
They don't even have to catch up to me. They can
do
the information thing while I'm going after.
Right. No, I'm saying it's going to. So while you're doing that, they've got got the wings in the back of the imp. I love it. Are y'all? So that leads me to my question. Then, are y'all trying to follow him? Maybe not keep pace, or are you going to talk to Isaacs?
What do you think? I don't know if we should let him go alone. I mean, I know he's kind of like a wall, but I don't feel.
Yeah, we can help, so we'll go help. And it's not like he's going anywhere. We'll be back to ask questions.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Also, assuming Piper's still with us, but not talking.
I think Piper kind of stayed out. I'm gonna say that Piper kind of ended up staying outside.
Could I say that I took a healing potion from her?
Yes.
Luca, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tuck this in. Do you have a pocket? Those aren't pants.
No, they are not. So, I have a backpack.
Oh, you have a backpack. Okay, well, I took this from Piper, and if you start to feel not really great, you just drink this, okay?
Okay. And I'm gonna put it in the pack and hope that I don't have to use it so I don't make Piper mad because, that's theft.
Oh, no, it's okay. I helped her make it.
Oh, okay, then that's not as bad.
Yeah, no, you can use it. That's what it's for. All right, let's go.
So I imagine that you're saying this kind of as you're kind of jogging around the outside of the ring of this thing. Lucius, you are way ahead of them because not only did you leave first and not dilly-dally as established, you just run faster, man. You just got did we determine earlier, we haven't shown the art, I think we determined earlier that Nettle doesn't even come up to your knees or something?
No,
No, I don't.
I think they do. I think their body is just like very long and they have kind of stubby legs. But like the stubby legs are probably like she probably gets just to the knee, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. As you get around, you get to that rubble that's blocking your way, and you can either try to push your way through that rubble or kind of just go back around, not go back around, but go around through the lab.
I'm going through the rubble.
Okay. So, um, yeah, this rubble is blocking your way. What are you doing to go through it? You just kind of Kool-Aid man your way through?
Yeah, I'm gonna just like bulldoze straight through.
He's 8 foot and he's moving like a truck.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, let's see.
I feel like less a truck and more like just a very powerful stride. You know,
Like a rhinoceros.
it's like they are walking through a crowd and everybody just kind of disperses because like they have a serious face on.
We're gonna start calling him Fezzik. Okay, I'm gonna say the stakes are high, danger is looming, and you're acting anyway. Can you defy danger with strength, please? Because you are definitely powering through. I just want to hear the good old Kool-Aid man. Oh yeah!
That's a 4 plus 1, 5 plus 1, 6. I'm going to spend an XP to make it a 7.
Okay, good call. So, let's see. A lesser cost, a lesser success, a cost, or a con. Okay, all right. This is easy to not easy, but here's going to be the thing. You're shoving your way through, and it's going to take a minute to kind of push through this stuff. And as you do, you're going to take a little bit of damage from the rubble that you're kind of pushing through it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 2 damage
Okay.
that you take just from the kind of cuts and bruises as you're pushing through this rubble. And anyway, Piper, because I know you're watching and listening, Piper, you suddenly see this explosion of stone and cement and rubble, and coming through it is an angry cyborg troll. And it makes sense, since a minute ago you saw one of those spawns go past you, Piper, because again, I know you can see, out into the forest. It's still nearby, like you can see it there. It hasn't left. It's kind of like oozing along, but not oozing, but it's like shuffling along very quickly. So, Lucius, you see it a little bit ahead of you. Piper is nearby, as she says, casting spells from afar. Unless she tells me otherwise, I'll at least do some healbot stuff for her when it's needed and appropriate, because she's watching and she can tell me if I'm wrong. The other two of you, you heard this like almost explosion of stone as your friend went through it. What are the other two of you doing?
So, I feel like Luca is moving fast enough where he's coming around these corners, but he doesn't have very good traction. So you just hear tap 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 slide, and he comes around and he sees there's this huge hole in the rubble, and he's just like, okay, and he just goes through it because
Okay.
it's an option, and probably trips at least once, but probably catches himself maybe.
Okay.
Why am I following behind the tallest ones?
Because they're all the tallest ones. Yes, so as that happens, I think this is where we're going to take a quick break,
Okay.
refresh our drinks, any of that. When we come back, before we start in with Lucius bringing down his holy fury and anger, maybe that's not the right word, but his holy wrath upon this chaos spawn, we're going to have a little bit of a character art to show everybody when we come back. So y'all, anybody watching seriously, wait 5 minutes. It's going to be so worth it. We have some fantastic stuff to show you. So we'll be back in like 5-ish minutes. Bye. How about now? Hopefully now. Hopefully it should be there. Okay, yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. OBS. Computers are hard, y'all. This is a group sketch, as I said, by Nim. It is 10,000% not done. She says. I think it looks great. I think it looks great. Cole, what's your favorite part of what you've drawn here so far?
Lucius. I love drawing the big boy. Oh, they were all fun to draw, though. I love everybody.
Yeah, they are. I love the expression on Luca's face. I really do.
Just perpetually worried.
Just yeah,
Boy.
yeah. No, that's so good.
Very relatable.
Right. Let's look more closely at Lucius. Shall we?
Hmm.
Okay. How about that? This is just I know this is a doodle. This is just a doodle. I love the expression on his face.
Oh, that's Lucius, or did you say Luca?
Yeah.
Lucius. That is definitely Lucius.
I was gonna say Luca's not quite a
Yeah.
Burly boy.
Yeah.
burly boy.
He is so Max. That is a troll cyborg paladin. Jimmy, what do you want to tell us about Lucius in general?
Lucius comes from like a monastic order of like that like has holy relics that are basically like scrap metal technology and like cobbled together things. So the sketch is sort of like supposed to be like scrap punk, I guess. I don't know any other word for that. And my like description for him was that like he has flesh incorporated robotic armor. So yeah. The actual machine parts are like up in the air. I have no idea how to draw machine parts.
Mood.
That's fine. That's fine. So we talked about Luca's. That's fine. That's fine. So we talked about Luca's expression, right? Why don't we get a better look at Luca? Still a sketch, still a doodle, still a character study. But let's take a look at Luca. This is when I fell in love with the character. This when I was like, I'm all about this.
I love Luca.
He just tries so hard.
Forda, what do you want to tell us about Luca?
Legs for days.
I already was kind of mean to him. Said he looked like an elf who got into some kind of magical accident, but like that's kind of mean and not strictly accurate. Truth is, he just doesn't really know what he even is. But he's figuring out life.
Aren't we all?
Mood, right? So, how tall did we say Lucius was? We're gonna have a height chart next week, but
He's about 8 feet. I'm thinking like 2 feet above the normal tall person.
right. And Luke is like 6 feet, right?
Luca's the normal tall person. He's 6 feet. Like I think maybe 6'1".
Okay. Yeah. Certainly up there, taller than me. That's for dang sure.
Yep.
I'm
Same.
not a tall person.
Yeah. Well, you don't really realize that Lucius is tall because he has like very broad shoulders. He's very wide. Like that's the first thing you notice, and you're like, oh, he's like normally proportioned. And then you like get a closer
No.
look. Yeah.
And now let's look at Piper.
God.
Everybody's favorite adorable gnome cleric.
I'm gonna cry. I mean, I'm crying always, but I'll cry again.
Look at her. She's adorable. Totally adorable. Jihus drew this. She's in chat. She had to leave because of an emergency, rather. Hopefully everybody's okay. Can I point out that this drawing and these group sketch that we saw before are not only by our two players, these are also the two players together who did our fantastic layout. Like, that's just amazing, that layout. But I like the detail, look at all the extra shading that she did. And she's just short and chunky. Oh, the hat. I want to point out the hat, because that's important. That hat, though.
Nettle collects flowers for her hat.
Right? It's so good. Now, I don't mind saying that in terms of, like, sheer fascination, Nettle is pretty well up there. So let's take a look at two images of Nettle.
The beauteous forest imp.
A forest imp with antlers.
Too cute.
Look at that. Cole, what do you have to say about Nettle?
I love her so much, and I created her months ago, and I've been waiting to use her. I'm so happy.
I love that her little imp horns are antlers.
She's
First
a
of all.
forest imp.
Right?
And she came from a tree. And she really loves Sersha. And yeah, she just likes nature and stuff.
That's fantastic.
I love her.
That is so, so good. So, you all have an idea of what we're seeing in our heads when we're playing. I'm down for this. This is such. I love how we together are creating a setting and a world that is not kind of your standard, like, oh, let's smush together, Lord of the Rings and somebody else's interpretation of a few pieces of mythology. We just kind of put it all out there. I dig it. Alright, we should be back on regular view now with our faces. Sadly, not Jesse's face. Next week, hopefully, everything will be back to normal and everybody will be okay. Where were we? Oh, yes. We were outside the vault. Lucius Kool-Aided Man his way through some rubble in the vault.
I like to think of it more as that scene from SpongeBob, where he's like going through the metal.
Even better.
Just for...
Listen, anytime that you're bringing SpongeBob in, I'm down for it because, not gonna lie, maybe not in the actual aesthetic of the world, but just the zaniness. Oh yeah, that's fitting for me. That's working for me. Yeah. All right. So this horrible flesh and bone and nastiness thing is a little bit ahead of you in the forest. It's sort of an open. I imagine it as sort of an open forest, right? It's not thick with undergrowth, right? It's not quite a park, right?
It's an old forest.
It's what?
It's an old forest. It doesn't have much underbrush. It's big trees.
Right. And I think we decided last week that not only did we have robotic bees, Nettle, what was the other thing that you said was in the forest here?
I don't really fully understand it, but like some of the trees have like these weird glowing I guess they're like technology parts, and the roots like ensnare people.
Oh, that's good to know.
But they're not roots, they're like wires. They shock you. You gotta be careful.
I love it.
When you first told me the trees glowed, I thought it would be something a little less dangerous.
The forest is a very dangerous place. The trees never forget. That's why you gotta be nice to them. Not to mention the fairy circles. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Don't want to step into one of those again.
Did they treat you nice, though? Or were they just mad?
Fairies aren't very nice. They're mean. They're mischievous. They love playing pranks, but if you leave them like snacks and stuff, they'll usually be nice to you. I like to leave them like sometimes when I'm in town, don't tell anybody, but I like to steal pastries and I leave that in a fairy circle. And they really like that. That's like a special treat from me.
That's like a public service. It keeps them calm and happy and not hurting people.
Exactly. So like it's not really stealing, it's just keeping people happy, you know?
It's paying the tax, right?
Yeah. Also, like, I live there, and I don't want them trashing my house.
Fair. Lucius, you are just hoofing it towards this thing. What do you do?
Do I see it in front of me?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, you're gonna have to kind of put on a burst of speed, but you can get there.
Yeah. Is this is in the forest, or is this the like a hallway?
No, you're outside of the vault now. You are in the forest.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to go after it with my axe.
All right. You're gonna chase it down and do the axe thing.
Yes. So
are you doing smite or are you doing hack and slash?
Smite, I think.
I think that's fair. You've determined that it is unnatural.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also a thing of like his own confidence. Keep dropping dice. Yes, it's a thing of confidence, I think.
All right.
Him losing the spear was something that kind of like broke that confidence a little bit. And let's see how this goes. 5 plus 3, that is 8, 9.
9. Okay. Oh yeah, you hit it.
So,
but it's going to be able to attack you back as you're kind of rushing up to it. So roll your d10.
It says on a 7 to 9, deal your damage and take 1, but you also expose yourself to harm or unwanted attention. So just letting you know. Okay. So say that again, sorry.
So roll your d10 for your damage.
D10 for damage. That is a 10. Huh.
Excellent. So, again, that light flares out from the electronics and metal and parts built into your flesh, as well as from within the small little hand. It's amazing all this work you're doing with this little hand axe, right?
Yeah.
And you just bring it down. You didn't destroy it. It's still there, but you hit it as the light flares. The problem is that you were in such a hurry to do it, to get there, because you were a little bit far away, that as you were running up to it, right before you got to it, one of those kind of nests of cables of thick. I think of it like everybody's got that basket of cables in their closet of computer parts anymore. So that stuff is around the base of the tree and reaches out and trips you. So you fall as you're hitting it. So you hit it, do all your damage, but now you are kind of face planted into the ground.
How much damage do I take?
None. You don't take any damage.
Oh.
But now you're kind of at disadvantage as it were to this thing because you are face down on the forest floor.
Can I still choose the one thing from the list for smite?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Yes.
Yeah. I guess.
I think. Hang on. What does it say for?
7 to 9, deal your damage and pick one, but you expose yourself to harm or unwanted attention.
Okay.
And the options are deal an extra D6
Oh, I
damage,
see. Yes.
Ignore armor, suppress one of its unnatural powers, or force it from its host. I think I'm going to suppress one of its unnatural powers.
All right. So its unnatural powers. You get.
I don't want it to distort reality again and get away.
Okay, that's right. Makes sense. Okay. All right. So it can know. So as you kind of remove that ability from it, it's still kind of for a moment that light that came from within you. It's kind of bathed in that light, like it's glowing, but not of its own accord, of the light that you put onto it. So Nettle and Luca, what are you two? You see him like. You see the cable from the tree kind of reach out and trip him as he falls and hits this thing, but you see that happen right? And clearly he's done some significant damage to the Chaos Spawn. What are you two doing?
Do I see the tree? Can I tell which tree did the
Yes,
thing?
you definitely saw, like, I think of it like the equivalent, like an old printer cable or something kind of lashed out real fast to trip him.
Okay, I want to use Called Shot.
Against the spawn or the tree?
Nettle's brain would be on the tree, because there's a spot in the center, and it like glows, and she's figured out that if you can get the arrow to go in just right.
So you're going to shoot the tree. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To get the roots to not trip anybody.
Okay, alright. So you're going to do Called Shot, which is a ranger thing, yes?
Uh-huh. Take your time and calmly line up your shot. Either deal damage or roll plus dex, and on a plus 10, deal damage and pick 2. And then on a 7 to 9, deal damage and pick 1.
Okay, alright.
My dex is now plus 3, because I took improved stat. So, that's 8, 9, 10, 11.
Wow, alright, so roll a d8 and tell me which 2 you pick.
Okay, D8. Wait, is this? Yeah, deal damage and pick 2. Okay. That's only 3 damage. Let's see. I want to deal 1d4 damage. Another d4. Where did it go? Oh, do I have a d4? They're hiding in here. Oh no. Hang on, Dice Goblin's gotta dig for dice. Okay, come on. Oh, that's cocked. That's a 4. So that's 7 points of damage. And then I want to hinder them. I'm gonna hinder the tree.
Okay. Alright, so it's going to... Alright, got it. It is hindered. It can't throw out those cables anymore. Forta, what are you doing?
Well, having seen him trip and be in this very bad position, and knowing full well that I am not going to get over there fast enough to actually hit the thing before it probably has a chance to hit him back, I'm going to do another one of my workings.
Alright.
This time, I'm going to do Fascination, in which I give a sublime performance, and I hold my audience entranced. My audience is going to be the thing, if I can manage that.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm performing, but I'm singing a song.
You're going to sing it? So yeah, tell us a little bit about the performance. Just a little. Just give us a little bit of fiction around it.
So, as I'm singing, I'm doing like some kind of cutesy little shuffle, and like as I shuffle around, like the cloud stuff just kind of does this like little shuffly, wavy stuff. As yeah. I'm doing like little tappy toes and like stomping my feet. It's adorable, but like hopefully it's distracting.
I'm so happy.
That's great. So yeah, roll your move there.
Right. Dice.
Plus charisma.
So that's 5 plus 1 is 6.
All right. So mark XP. My favorite thing to say as a dragon manager in Dungeon World. Also, I love saying dragon manager instead of like game master or dungeon master. I'm so in love. Maybe dungeon manager almost sounds better, but dragon manager is just cool, right? I remember somebody in Variant Rules suggested that a week or 2 ago, and I don't know who it was, but that's
it was me.
Was it
that's
you?
That's what Rachel calls it.
Oh, that is perfect. That's perfect. Rachel has created a thing now. So.
She needs to make that Twitter account. She does.
I know.
Right?
She really does.
Right.
D&D wife life.
D&D wife life. Oh, that's so good. I think what happens is, as you're singing this song, actually what happens is for just a moment, instead, your companions, your compadres here are the ones that are entranced.
Oh, no.
And they're kind of like, oh, that's such a pretty song. And oh, look at him dance. And Nettle's just kind of, yeah. Even Saoirse is kind of in it. Saoirse's like, you see Saoirse kind of like doing that kind of like you see in the commercials when like a dog dances or whatever. And Saoirse kind of stands up on their hind legs and does a little twirl. And Lucius is in the ground, but you see him kind of like, he's doing the big guy dance, right? Which is not really, it's kind of the, which I get, right? He's kind of like the,
Oh no.
Lucius, while you're doing that for a moment, how do you shake this off? What do you do?
I don't know. I'm just sort of face planted in the chaos thing, right?
Right. Okay.
Maybe I like get submerged a little bit to the point that I can't hear or see this performance.
Kind of like dig yourself into the ground a little bit.
No, I'm just like slowly being swallowed into it.
Oh, like the earth is kind of swallowing you up somehow. What?
Isn't the chaos being thing? Am I?
No, you're face planted into the ground.
Oh, okay.
Like kind of like it's right next to you and above you, but you are not. Or is that what you want to do? You kind of want to place your face into the thing?
Yeah, I think in a weird, like, hazy mindset, he might not really.
Into the void.
Yeah.
Head first.
He wants to trip.
Come on in, the water's fine.
All right, so as you plunge into the chaos spawn, because that's definitely a healthy choice to make. For a moment, its flesh envelops you, and you take 7 damage.
Okay.
As its chaotic touch is, it can't rewrite reality, but it is certainly trying to rewrite your reality, and unleash chaos upon you. Luca, as you see this, what do you do?
I stop dancing and I'm gonna like pick up a rock and like throw it at the thing or a stick or whatever I can find.
All right, that's good. So that's definitely a volley. You're taking aim. You're attacking an enemy at range. Roll plus dex.
Okay. That's 8. That's 8.
Okay.
Total.
So you don't really get ammunition here, so you can either deal damage with disadvantage or put yourself in danger.
I'm gonna put myself in danger because I don't trust myself not to miss.
Right. So roll your damage, your regular damage, because damage in Dungeon World does not depend on the weapon; it depends on the character.
5. Damage.
So here's what happens. Are you all right, Nettle?
I'm just nervous.
Okay, you are running. You realize that it's a little bit far. Like if you just threw it from where you were, you wouldn't quite be able to get it there. So, as you're running forward to do it, you run and you throw it. But my note here. As you do that, you throw it. It hits the thing, and we'll come back to what happens to the spawn in a minute. But for you, a different tree doesn't just trip you, but like reaches out and grapples you, kind of like it's got both of your legs and your non-throwing arm like caught. Like you've got 3 of your 4 extremities kind of caught in this thing. But that rock flies true. That rock that you threw embeds itself right into it, and you see it fly in. It's something about, maybe it's the connection to the earth. Maybe it's just that this thing was tired. Maybe it's that it still had the light glowing from Lucius's smite. And you see it sort of invert itself in reality and shrink to a singularity. And black ichor melts on the ground, kind of oozes down, and the thing is gone. But now you're caught by this tree. What do you do, Luca?
Hello, Mr. Tree. Can you please let me be? I guess I'm gonna
You just asking
find parlay with a tree.
You're gonna I love it. I parley with the tree. You want them to let you go. Can you roll plus charisma? Or sorry, what were you gonna say there, Nettle?
Well, I was gonna ask if it would be possible if I had like a little bone dagger, if I could like swoop down and like cut one of them.
So maybe as you're flying over with a dagger, maybe we'll count that as aid. That the tree realizes you're coming with a dagger. So roll parley with advantage. But if but Nettle is exposed to any potential risks or consequences.
Better roll good then.
But you're a bard, so plus charisma, right?
Charisma's not my highest thing.
I love it.
That's an 8 plus a 1 is a 9. 9.
We made it!
Mr. Tree, I swear I wasn't gonna throw it at you. I just that thing is bad news, and it would have been really bad news for you guys. Like it completely moved an entire wall. What would it do to a tree?
I gotta get the mic set properly for this. Because you guys, if you're gonna do a tree, you gotta do the tree right? Fleshy one, and you see sort of a face like in Wizard of Oz. You see a face sort of appear in the tree, but this face has sort of a. It's not just a face, right? But the features of the face look like what we would think of as circuits on a circuit board, like printed circuits, right? And it says, "But we're hungry. Feed me."
What do you like to eat?
Give us something good.
If you let go of my arm, I can pull something out of my bag.
Give us something good. And it lets go just of your arm, not of your feet.
Okay, so now I'm probably dangling awkwardly.
Yeah, maybe it's hanging. Yeah, that's good. I like that. It's hanging you upside down with these computer cables from the roots of the tree.
And like things in my outer pockets of my bag have just fallen out, like parchment and maps that are just on the ground now. But like I managed to wiggle my backpack to my front and I start digging my hand into the upper pouch and I pull out some rations, which is mostly like berries, honestly, berries and some honey.
Oh, berries! At least said fairies. I was like, you eat fairies?
No.
That would have been great. Okay, yeah. So it reaches out one of the other cables. I think it's like a monitor cable, and it grabs the berries from you, and it pulls back in those berries with the monitor cable towards its circuit board face. Or at least it's not that the whole thing is green. It's just the facial. It's just the facial, which are that kind of gold thing that you see at the circuits itself. And it eats it. And it just, tastes like my neighbor.
Oh.
And then it just drops you, and you just fall onto the forest floor.
And I'm just gonna lay there slumped for a little bit because I need to process that.
So, like, while that was happening, can I fly around away from the face, and I want to look for that little thing that I look for to turn it off.
The power switch?
It's like so like in the grooves of the trees, it's got like the glowy bits, but there's like it's not really a button. It's like one of the chips or whatever. I want to get my dagger in there, just.
All right, yeah, you don't have to roll. Yeah, you do that, and all of a sudden, all of you see, like, the face. It's like when a TV goes off, like, during a power outage, and just, like, it just, like, goes back in, And that's what happens to its face. Bloop. And all the cables just go limp. Now, while you're doing this, you can hear echoing out from the vault. You can hear that voice saying, "Query, have you concluded your data retrieval? System shutting down in 5 minutes." What do you do?
We gotta go. I'm gonna swoop around. I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna hold out my hands for Luca, and then I'm gonna like fly backwards and try and help him to stand up.
All right.
I'm scrambling, so like wiggle, roll, flop, and somehow get up to my feet with help.
And Lucius, what about you? What is Lucius doing?
I'm assuming I'm on the ground after.
Yeah, I think at this point you probably at least like rolled over at a minimum, maybe set up even.
I think they're like getting up. They're trying to get any kind of like gunk out of in between like their different pieces, stuff like that, like shaking it out.
Okay. Yep. So what?
They'll
All right.
stand up.
So you're kind of like I mentioned, kind of brushing yourself off and cleaning it out. And as you look up, what is it that Lucius sees Nettle and Luca and Piper, right, doing as they hear that voice? It's kind of far away, like here maybe several tens of yards outside of the cave.
It's okay, I have 10 years.
Shutting down in 4.5 minutes.
No.
We gotta go.
I
So,
see
like,
them run towards the thing, so I just sort of get up and kind of slowly walk back because I am badly hurt.
All right. So,
Luca, can
so we're gonna
can-
we're gonna say that
kind
hey,
of fumble it a little bit.
we can have. So we're gonna do one of two things. I'll let y'all can decide. Either I don't know if Luca if this version of the bard has any sort of healing magic. I don't think so.
I think I can get an upgrade
Okay.
later,
All right.
but not off.
That's
not
fine.
immediately.
Well, so this is where we'll have our heal bot. I can't believe I'm doing this. Try to cure wounds. So we're going to. I'm going to roll for her. I'm going to roll 2d6 plus. I guess her wisdom is probably where she put her +2. She'll tell me if not. So I'm not going to give y'all a terrible move out of this, but I did roll snake eyes. But so what I'm going to say is that for whatever Kitty,
Toothless.
what I'm going to say is that Piper, for whatever reason, Piper's magic just it's not working. Like something's somehow interfering with it. So maybe you'll need to use like a heal. Actually, now that the time pressure is off, probably a few of you could recover, which is something that let's recall that Nettle's a little bit dazed still. So you can recover by taking time to catch your breath and tend to what ails you. If one of you expends a use of supplies, you can regain 5 hit points. And I'm going to say that for the debility, which is that dazed thing is, for Nettle, and only one of you has to expend supplies.
I'll expend it. I still have the supplies I used from last time, and I had 3 uses.
Okay. I'm going to say that, Nettle, you're going to have to stay out here for a moment and kind of take a sip of water and just kind of take it easy for a minute with Piper kind of fussing over you while you're doing that. Luca, as you go inside now, you hear that voice saying, "Shutting down in 4 minutes as data retrieval functions are not engaged."
Wait! I'm here to retrieve the data! And, like, I'm just, like, booking it.
Right. So I bet you just kind of running in and like maybe even almost falling on yourself, like stumbling,
definitely.
trying to get in there. Because it seems to me that Luca is not a very coordinated person.
Like, he's got enough dex when it counts, but, like, he mostly bumbles his way through the fight.
I dig it. I'm totally down with this idea, especially having seen the sketches now. Like it when I saw that a few days ago, it just brought it all together for me. And you hear the voice say, "Countdown paused.
Thank
Please
you.
initiate your queries."
Okay, where did those anomaly things come from? And
Ass-
why are there more in tanks?
assertion. This is not well understood, but current hypotheses indicate that the ichor is extruded into this universe from an external reality.
That's trippy. Why are there some in tubes in the lab?
These are specimens gathered from earlier intrusions. Intrusions have been detected in vaults 3 and 7.
Where are those?
Outposts like this one, located some distance away. Approximately 16.2 and 42.3 kilometers in distance.
And direction?
Due north.
Okay. Are the ones in the tubes dead?
Our specimens are neutralized in suspended animation.
What if they get loose?
Speculation. If the specimens were to be loose, local reality would be dissolved.
Ah. Okay. More thing to do, I guess. Uh, what protocols are necessary to enter the other vaults?
You see a little what's what I'm looking for? I think of like an SD card, right?
Mhm.
Like a little basically yeah, no, let's just say it's an SD card kind of be ejected underneath one of the screens in that initial lab area, and it says physical credentials provided.
Thank you.
Do you wish to access biological databanks?
What's in there?
This research outpost has functioned for 1,382 cycles, gathering biological specimens for future societies to reconstruct previous ecological balance.
Previous ecological balance?
That is correct.
Um, what specimens are on file?
At this time, we have 176 different biological specimens within our databanks. Do you wish to receive an export?
What format thing is the export?
Do you prefer hard copy or soft copy?
I don't even know what a soft copy is.
Very well. Hard copy proceeding. And you hear one of those old dot matrix printers start to go meep, 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 meep.
Oh my gosh, Piper.
Wait, am I close enough to hear Luca?
Yeah, you can kind of hear the echo as you're outside. Maybe Lucius is probably in there as well.
Oh wow, Piper, Luca's really smart. He's like really smart. He's really smart. Oh, ow, watch my horn. My hair's tangled in my antler.
Oh no.
What do you do?
I don't know if I can read that script.
What language is it in?
Are you trying to figure it out, Nettle?
I don't know if I'm still resting or not, but after I do that, yeah, I want to try. I want to see. I want to look at it.
I'm gonna try and read it.
Okay. Maybe Nettle's helping Luca. Luca, you can make the roll with advantage.
Okay.
So give me a plus int. This is going to be a spout lore, basically.
Okay, so that's 13.
Whoo! As you're looking at this, you realize this looks like you're not an expert in it yourself, but you have seen similar sorts of output of effectively genetic code and ecological observations from the hollow golem over the. Not that you've seen it from this source, obviously, but you recognize it looks like, yeah, DNA output. It looks like ecological and logistic observations and all of that. That would probably be useful to anyone who is trying to understand previous the ecosystem in this area and how it's changed since the apocalypse 1382 cycles, whatever that means, in the past.
Okay. So I'm going to retrieve that information and I'm going to squirrel it away into my backpack.
Right. And it has given you basically directions to 2 other vaults where it believes that similar incursions have taken place.
Okay.
Luca, can you read that?
No, but I think I might know somebody who can.
Where do we find them?
They're not in this town. They're in the next city over.
Okay.
What's the name of that city, by the way? Just make one up. What do you? What is it? Maybe the city has many names. What is the name that you call it?
Ooh, Viora Town.
Viora Town?
Mm-hmm.
Viora Tom. Is it Tom or Town?
Town.
All right.
I heard
Mom
Tom.
works too, I guess. That'd be
I
funny.
heard Tom. Like a Tom.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Interesting.
All
I
right.
think that's what Nettle calls it. Oh, we're going to Tom.
So,
Dearsha, they have that really good bakery that we're going to have to go visit that.
so as the 4 of you get together, do you plan to take this information directly to Lucas' contacts in Viora Town, or do you want to go investigate the potential other chaos intrusions?
I think we should go to Tom.
I almost feel like we should. Oh God, that's a big spider. Sorry. I almost feel like we should make sure to destroy the things in the lab, just in case.
And the other labs?
Oh no, the one here.
The one here you've cleansed. This one is
Okay.
yeah.
No, but I mean the samples, the specimens that were in stasis.
Oh well, that's a choice that you could make.
It's like
Can we poke it out?
I don't know how to destroy the samples
I
without
think
exposing us to risk.
I think it may be more dangerous to try and destroy them without the proper knowledge of how we should handle them.
That's fair.
There's nothing left in the lab, so they should be fine. If we lock the doors behind us or something.
This
Maybe.
facility
We could put a do not enter sign.
This
I
facility,
don't think everyone want to enter.
this facility seems old. If they've been here for this long, they'll be able to last a bit longer, I think.
True. I worry that maybe these intrusions are drawn to their own kind. I remember stories where that's a thing, but those are just stories, probably. Probably. Right?
I don't know. I only know what the trees tell me, and that's what the like cable things. But that writing looks familiar, and I want to reach into my. I have some pouches, and some of them, if anyone were to try to rob me, they would find a pouch full of branches, a pouch full of leaves,
Naturally. I mean, what else would they expect?
random metal bits, and I want to dig through that pouch, and I pull out a microchip from one of the trees that I found because I was trying to study it, but I'm not really smart, so I didn't get anywhere. But now it's really pretty, so I think I'm going to make a wind chime out of it, but I recognize the writing.
Okay.
And I show Luca. See? Does it match?
I'm gonna hold up my stuff. Does it?
Does the writing on the microchip match the writing on the printout?
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to let the die of fate decide. I disclaim responsibility for this decision. It does.
Ooh.
So it probably is some sort of an aid to deciphering this information later.
Okay.
But it sounds like maybe you're more concerned about the immediate threat from the chaos intrusion than the long-term benefits of decoding the ecological databanks.
Yep.
So maybe next week when we start, y'all will travel to one of those other two vaults?
Probably. Unless we want to go elsewhere.
I'm asking. I'm certainly not telling you what you want. I'm trying to make sure that I understand so I can prepare accordingly.
My vote is more travel to vaults, but just because they seem very dangerous and we can't let those just be.
It depends on what's closer. If the vaults are closer, then I say we do the vaults. But if Tom Tom is closer, then we should go to Tom Tom.
I have to agree with Nettle on this instance. I think while stopping the individual instances will be a good short-term solution, we need to figure out how to destroy them and suffocate their entrance into our world completely.
Yeah, I would say, and by the way, Piper is voting for the vault. I see in chat here. So I would say that that Viora Town, I cannot call it Tom Tom myself, but you're welcome to. Isn't Tom Tom a GPS, an old GPS? Anyway, is that your microchip? I can't.
Yeah.
Oh. I would say that it's probably a little bit further than the first vault. So maybe you can go to one vault and then decide what you do after that and decide whether you will go to the second vault or to Viora Town.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we know what we're doing next week. So you'll have some time to rest and recover before you've already made camp, so you don't have to do that again. And we will deal with the additional move next week of venturing forth and some other related things on your way to vault number 3. Excellent. Well, thanks to all 4 of you for playing. I know that Jessie couldn't stay for the whole thing, but she has been here not just in spirit but in chat, and I appreciate that greatly. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to go around in reverse order, and again, tell everybody if there's anything that you have that you're working on separately that you want people to know about, and then what your favorite moment for tonight was. So we're going to start in reverse order. Let's go with Cole. Anything you want people to check out that you're doing on the internet, and what your favorite moment was?
My favorite
I forgot that was your real voice. I was like,
I know.
That's not. Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
That happens a lot. My first D&D game, I do adjust your voice, and they didn't know that wasn't my accent. So, like, my favorite moment, I think, would have to be. This is a good one. Oh, I liked the Kool-Aid Man through the thing, and I also liked when Luca was hanging upside down. All of the things fell out of the pockets.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was funny. I like that. And as for what the heck am I doing this week? On Sunday, you might want to tune in to Old Myths. I'm not saying that I'll be there, but I might be. So you should check that out. And on God, why can I never remember? I follow too many people. I'm like, who's doing what on what day? I don't think I'm doing anything else. I'm in one shots, but I don't think they're streamed.
All right, cool.
So check out Jossam on Twitter because I love her and she should have more followers and more people.
Oh yeah, I looked. It's not just Jossam. It's Jossam something on Twitter.
Jossam Art, I think.
Okay, Jossam Art. There we go. All right. Forda, how about you? Anything that you're doing on the internet you want people to know about? And either way, and if not, that's fine. And either way, what your favorite moment tonight was?
I mean, as always, checking out my Twitter, my art sites. That I love when people do that. But
that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Forda's amazing. She did character art for Roads Uncharted, and we love them for it. And I still cry about it.
Oh,
I am almost done with the DM's portrait too. So, I'm so excited to share that. Like, oh my gosh!
All right, so follow Forda on Twitter. I guess. Are you have other? You said you're on. I can't remember. Was it Instagram or no?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm also I'm Lex Arts on Instagram.
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure it's either Fortavare or Lex Arts with 2 X's.
Duly noted.
It's one of the two.
All right. And what was your favorite moment tonight?
My favorite moment of the night. It's a toss-up between when that first smite, came through and like just completely annihilated the ooze, or Saucy joining me in the dance. That was pretty great. So adorable.
I feel like I need to draw like a chunky dancing Wolverine now.
Oh, please do. Please do.
On hind legs.
Right. Jimmy, how about you?
Hey, I'm Jimmy. I think my favorite moment for this session was Luca like interrogating the machine thing at the end, asking him questions. I thought that was kind of like you taking like the head. I thought it was like very good questions that you asked. Like, I'm curious to see where we go from there.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
I'm at Demon Business on most things, mostly Twitter, and I might be releasing a custom Monster Heart skin that I wrote this week. So if you check me out on Twitter, I might be posting about that. We'll see. It's gonna be on Itch. So yeah.
Yeah, I know that you're getting close to releasing that, so that's fantastic. I saw you talking about that earlier. So yes, more Powered by the Apocalypse goodness. I haven't played Monster Hearts, but I've heard great things about it, so I'm looking forward to that.
One of my favorite games, yeah.
My favorite moment, I had so many favorite moments. Favorite's probably not the right word. Yes, certainly one of my favorites was, as Forda said, when Lucius destroyed the Chaos Ichor infection, or whatever that you want to call that, in the vault there. But also, actually, when Nettle said that the trees have not exactly roots, but like cables and metal things coming out of them. I was like, I wrote that down. I'm like, I'm using that. And fairy circles too. Who knows what can happen from that? I need to think about that one a little bit. But when y'all give me stuff like that, I'm like, perfect. So you're kind of like, talking about your character's experience in the world, which is a very Dungeon World thing to do, or a very
my favorite part.
PBTA
I can just
thing.
make up stuff.
Oh, I love it. And then just this image in my mind of I'm thinking about my endless containers of old computer cables that I don't really need anymore, and I try to get rid of, but I can't. And I'm imagining those being the undergrowth around the bottom of a tree. So those two things. What's that?
Spooky.
Fuki?
Spooky.
Oh,
Scary.
yeah. Sorry, my old man ears. So as far as me, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me here. I'll be back here Sunday morning at 11 Central, 12 Eastern for Gothic Brunch. We've got 3 more sessions of this first kind of arc in it. And it's going to be critical because the players are trying to decide if what they're going to do about some terrible necromantic happenings in the city in which they were just told they have to leave forever. So we'll see what happens. It's Gothic Brunch tells you what it is, right? And then separately, I write a blog on D&D and role-playing games at technoskull.me. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks especially to my players, but all to the folks who were in chat with us tonight. And we will see y'all next Tuesday.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye.